Hello, trendsetters. Thanks for stopping in at Tarot Down Under. Political commentary and a bit of everything else. So I'm Lena Rodriguez, and I've been fascinated, as indeed we all have, how these legal cases are unfolding around the January 6th insurrection. Now, the prosecutors have asked for, as I understand it anyway, a 60-day extension. There is so much going on. It's been described as the most complex case in a century. So my lawyer friends have been texting madly, and they're in touch with American legal people and a bit of back and forth. So it's major. Now, in other news, Merrick Garland has been confirmed. Oh, remember my last video? Did the Yeti dabble in the dark arts? And then just after that, Lindsey Graham gave an interview somewhere saying he thought he might, or words to that effect. Not that you could trust anything that came out of the mouth of Lindsey Graham, certainly not in recent years. So now we're going to have a good look. Oh, I knew there was another snippet of fabulousness. Georgia. Another audio's been leaked with the Yeti pressuring someone else in the system about votes, and that's looking like being a racketeering charge in its own right. I couldn't be happier. Now, we're going to look, because of course, these big bad oath keepers and these big bad Proud Boys. I mean, what is it with the Proud Boys and Trump dancing to YMCA? Doesn't anyone break the news to them that these things have other associations? But anyway, far be it from me to point it out. So the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, now they're having to sit down and have deep and meaningful conversations with FBI agents. They're spilling their guts. So we're going to see what's going to happen there. And we have to look at Roger Stone, because he was instrumental apparently in talking to the Oath Keepers leading into and on the day of January 6th. So we'll see if he turns up, or I might have to do a little mini reading just on him. So now I want to look at this from the prosecutor's point of view first. How strong do they think their case is? Looking at it through their lens, and then looking at it through the insurrectionist stroke GOP lens. So let's go first. What do the prosecutors think they've got? And I hope it's a lot. The prosecutors' view of the January 6th stuff. January 6th court cases. What turns up here? Let's go. Oh, I'll just show you my shirt. Thank you very much. It was sent to me. Stand Strong LA, Indivisible, Yahoo. Okay. So we've got our little signifiers there, yes. Okay. Ooh la la. Goodness me. Goodness me. So we have, there's only 7 cards and 4 are major arcana. For those of you learning tarot, that's a big hint that it's a big story. Now, this is the people who are doing the prosecuting, and they're having to fend off stuff. So what are they fending off? They have to fend off, right, several things. You'd have, in legal land, I only have a toenail in legal land, but it is a complex world, and there'd be dispute amongst different jurisdictions and different cases. So the guy who's prosecuting the shaman compared with the guy who's prosecuting someone else, and where do they pull it together, and who's prosecuting lawmakers, and what charges are going to be laid, because the actual charges are hugely important. And there is no precedent for this, at least not in the last 240 years or something, right? So there you have it. That's what they're fending off. It's not straightforward, we'll just do this one, that one, followed by the next one. How much is going to be in silos? This person did this bad thing. Is that just a trespass charge, or is it part of a conspiracy? It's all that stuff. Legal argy-bargy. So for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, argy-bargy just means talking about things and butting heads. That's what that one's about. Now, underneath we have the world. The world certainly is watching. We are all watching very closely. How strong is the American system? Will it actually deal with this? Okay, so the influences on it. We have the USA itself. What are they fighting for? What are the legal eagles fighting for? They're actually fighting not just for the heart and soul of America, but the actual reality. Is it a working democracy, or is it a banana republic in the service of the American corporations, and a more efficient man than Trump could have tipped it over into an authoritarian regime? They're fighting for America here, and they're acutely aware of it. They're in charge of the judgment. So they're taking this responsibility very, very, very seriously. And that's because they realise America came 5 minutes to midnight to the tower. That's why they are so adamant. They're fighting for the very survival of America here, right? Individuals, and there must be dozens and dozens of lawyers involved in this, but they're being handpicked, a lot of them, for the calling. They've got to not only be very good at what they do, but they've got to be motivated by this to do the job properly. They've got to have this motivation. So in terms of what we can expect next, and I think things are actually happening a lot, you know, 24/7 behind the scenes. Also with Trump's case, well, his cases, plural, with Letitia James and Cyrus Vance, they're going to come on stream really soon. We'll be through with a lot of this waiting. But there will be waiting for this because it's so complex. But they're also following the money. What money is that? Well, that would be the money that Trump has raised through the Stop the Steal. That's $250 million for a start, right? $250 million he's raised. And I'm sure he's doing his best to spend it as we speak. So they're looking at the money, and this also to me speaks to the lawmakers are responsible for the money that they use in terms of, even if they use their photocopier at work, Pentacles are about money and other resources. So if they use their work desks and their work photocopiers and their work phones and all of that, I think is built into this. This is where they're going to get them. This is a hand of God coming to get them. So it's literally the money, but it's other resources, including real estate. So that's kind of curious in here, but there's something that could be about the tours round Congress or something. The real estate itself's important. So here we have the short-term outcome, the Six of Pentacles, dribbling crumbs to the poor. This is again what they're up against with how these people think. It is also the card of money transactions, of money laundering, of manipulations with money. So I think we're going to be, even us, and God knows I'm a cynical, jaded old bag if ever there was one, but I think we, even those who have been following this really closely, are going to be shocked at what money changed hands in relation to January 6th. So were some of those lawmakers paid? Were the oath keepers paid? I just heard oath keepers were paid. Can people get back to me? Does anyone know if there's any talk of that? That some of these paramilitary far right actually were paid or expenses paid? Because I think this is going to be what actually pulls off serious conspiracy charges. I think it's like that. Oh my word. So now I'm going to have a quick look at how are the insurrectionists feeling now? What's their take on it? Do they still feel that they are saving America? Do they still think they're in the right? Do they still think the Yeti's going to help them in any way? Sorry about this screen. It's a weird time of day. I'm getting blaring light through the windows. Okay, so what's the question? All right, so for those arrested, and there's been a lot of arrests, I had it written down somewhere, 900 subpoenas so far, 900 from the FBI. It's a lot of people. Okay, so those who have been subpoenaed and or arrested, how are they feeling about it now? How are they feeling about January 6th now? How are they feeling about January 6th? Huh. I just heard Ruth Bader Ginsburg. How weird is that? I have to return to that in a moment. Okay, so let's see what these tough guys and gals who couldn't wait to actually break in, abuse, assault, and in one case, you know, kill security and so forth, and threaten to kill the vice president with a lynching and threaten to execute Nancy and so on and so forth. What do they think now? Ooh, I need a shower after this. Yeah, well, there was the money. Well, sad to say, I think they don't get it. They're not remorseful. These are not the cards of guilt. They're not the cards of remorse. A few individuals might go, ooh, but they're hanging tough in one sense, but not another. So, okay, here's what I mean by that. There's a public-private divide here. This is the apprentice card, the fine print, the work. This is, I think, them believing that the movement will go on, even though they've been caught and arrested. Regardless of that, they actually think they started a movement that will continue. Ugh, yuck. Here's that card we just had, the Six of Pentacles. So there's definitely some association with them and money, the rich giving it to them to do the action, which they went out and did. No holds barred with the Chariot. You know, they were the new revolutionaries. You know, they were convinced that they were the best thing since sliced bread, that they were the defenders of the country. I mean, it's so perverse and flipped on its head, but we're looking at it through their eyes. Don't do this often. This is why. You see what they see. Ooh, yuck. Blessings, whimsy. I don't know how anyone does empath work. Can't bear it. I can barely touch the cards. Look at this. Okay. This is karmic, though, for America. It had to happen. So it was purring away below the surface, beneath the waves, but what passed as normal society kept them in check for the last 20 years or whatever. This is karmic, that America has to fight for what it believes in. You know that thing we talk about, Second World War generation, who most of them actually experienced the Great Recession, then the Second World War. They were the greatest generation, etc., etc. They're often called that. The point is, we who are any age now, I don't care whether you're 4 or 94, we are living through an exceptional historic time like has not been seen in a long, long time. This was karmic for America. It had to be this dramatic for people to pay attention and to fight for what passes as American values. America's always been one of those countries where the dream was bigger than the reality, and the dream was also bigger than its composite parts. You know, it was a symbolic country. I'm talking in the past sense. And that's because, in a way, it all has to be recalibrated. And what is the new America going to look like? Is it going to be an inclusive society? Is it going to try and close the gap, the obscene gap between rich and poor? Is it going to try and lead the world in any way whatsoever, apart from killing its own people at 11,000 Americans a year killed by other Americans? Is it going to be up to the challenge? Is it going to create jobs for the children of today for tomorrow? Is it going to have a health system that would catch up with the 19th century anywhere else in the world? These are the issues, really big issues. And this, I think, is rooting out the unquestioned corruption of the GOP. And the Dems are not flawless. There's a lot of corporate Dems. All of this contained in this one card. This is the card of karma. But I think ultimately, good news. Now, we're back. Don't forget, we're looking through the lies, through the eyes of how the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys and stuff are seeing it. They're torn. They're torn at the moment between thinking they had these friendships and pacts with other members of their group. People are very tribal, and that's one of the reasons I think white people are jealous of other people who actually have tribes, and they're always trying to invent a tribe, whether it's at the gym or at the evangelical service or somewhere. They're always looking for the tribe. They thought they had their tribe, and now here's the Page of Wands with the upright sword. There's a righteousness to the Page of Wands, convinced they're right and no one else is. But this is also a more individualistic card. They're going to have to fight their own battles, and they're going to have to pay their own legal fees or not be able to pay their legal fees, meaning they won't get good quality representation because public defenders are absolutely worked to death. So this is going to be very interesting. So I would sum that up by saying they're still in Disneyland. They still think they did the right thing, but they're getting worried now because the tribe is fracturing. That's how I'd sum that up. They could be a little further down the track, but they're not, it would appear. Now, Bader Ginsburg, Ruth's calling in. I'm going to have a little quick read on Ruth. Thank you for popping in, Ruth. I couldn't be more impressed. Love that. Before I forget, there's going to be a live stream on Sheila Celtic Tarot's channel with Linda G and me. We're doing a St. Patrick's Day special. Okay, so that's the 17th of March. I think it's 3 p.m. Pacific time, California time. I can't swear to that, so please check on Sheila's channel and jump on live if it's a good time for you. So that'll be fun. That's on your 17th. I'll be coming from the 18th. I'll probably have a St. Patrick's Day hangover, but there you go. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Have you got a message for us, Ruth? Ruth Bader Gibbon. Oh, I just heard, she said, this is the politics of destruction. Ah. And don't be afraid. Politics of destruction. Yep. Yep, she's calling it out. She's calling it out. So this is, I would say, the GOP. Do we keep pretending Trump's the leader and milk that? Do we try and get rid of him? Do we try and pretend we're the same as we always were? Do we reinvent ourselves? What do we do? Mitch McConnell suddenly lost power. Power he's had for 40 years. Suddenly, no one gives a flying toss what Mitch McConnell thinks about anything. That's weird. Good time to resign. This is the conflict, she says it. Her advice is stay calm. This is the retreat. Stay calm. Justice will prevail in the end. But don't expect it to be in a hurry, because here we have the Knight of Pentacles. The horse is very sturdy. It's a workhorse. It's a war horse, one foot in front of the other. But this is her message. Ignore this. This can be within your family. It could even be inside your own head. Oh, there's nothing I can do. I'm only an individual and everything's so bad, and it doesn't matter who you vote for. They're all the same, and all the inner stuff that freezes us all, because there's plenty to criticise in any of our lawmakers. But I think this is the GOP argument. Her advice direct from her lips. Retreat in a spiritual sense. It's a card for meditation, taking time out. That can be walks in nature, looking after yourself, but taking time out is really important. Support and allow justice to move forward, and be patient. You got to love her. All right, my darlings. So today is the 14th for me, so the next time you see me will be on Sheila's channel, so please go there, check out the time. I hope you're getting your notifications now. Don't forget, you have to go to your subscribe button and click the bell and click the box that says all. That's the secret. Only took me 4 years to work that out. I'm now sharing it with you. Love you guys. Keep the comments rolling. Ciao, ciao.